All right. So if we don't have any more questions, so we will continue with our next speaker. The last speaker, but not least, is Clementine Crooks, an HR professional with nearly 2 decades of experience as the brain behind resume restoration. Clementine has guided numerous professionals towards career success. Today, she will be unveiling the secret behind crafting compelling narratives for career advancement using the SOAR approach. Please join me in welcoming Clementine as she shares her experience in navigating career transitions and maximizing opportunities. Welcome, Clementine.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you all for taking the time to attend today's session. I hope you've had a wonderful conference. I know you've had some wonderful speakers present today, and I am honored to be your final speaker and the one that you will close your day out with. So what I'd like to do is I'd like you to start by picturing that you're at a conference, and perhaps it's a Women in Engineering event, and you're armed and you're ready to learn more, but more so you're ready to network. And as you navigate that room that's full of professionals, you hear that dreaded question, so tell me about yourself. And suddenly it's like you've entered a verbal obstacle course, dodging the urge to downplay your achievements and to sidestep the landmines of self-doubt. And you're trying desperately not to skip over your words. This might sound familiar because for many of us, especially women, it is like navigating a linguistic minefield when it comes to talking about our skills, our academic successes, and our professional achievements. It's as if we were, handed a script for modesty at birth, complete with the directions on how to downplay our wins and apologize for our greatness. But this afternoon, we are flipping the script on self-promotion, and we are going to embark on a journey to rewrite the narrative of career success. And my goal is to arm you with the powerful tool that is SOAR stories. So as mentioned, my name is Clementine. I am a CPHR certified HR professional. I have close to 20 years of experience working in many aspects of human resources. However, I specialize in career transition, and I'm the co-owner of Resume Restoration. We are a boutique firm that has assisted over 2,000 professionals unlock their potential and really land their dream jobs. And our approach is one-on-one. We work one-on-one with clients throughout the entire career transition lifecycle, offering guidance from, crafting their resumes to mastering the art of the interview. And when people ask me what I do, my tongue-in-cheek answer always is that I'm a glorified cheerleader. But instead of pom-poms, I assist clients in uncovering their achievements and showcasing their value. Because at the end of the day, I think what we all can agree on is selling ourselves is hard. It's not natural, it's awkward, it's uncomfortable. And for many of us, it's downright challenging. Now, I do want to speak to our credentials as a company quickly and share what qualifies me to speak with you all today. So Resume Restoration has been selected as the resume service of choice for a number of professional organizations. We are the resume service of choice for APEGA. So we do a ton of work with technical professionals. We're the resume service of choice for CPHR Alberta, which is the HR governing body of Alberta. For the Canadian Sports Institute of Alberta, so we do a lot of work with professional athletes and Olympians. The Society of Petroleum Engineers Calgary chapter, TCAE, which is a global crypto compliance and anti-money laundering organization, and many others. And I just share these partnerships with you as they really do solidify our reputation as a trusted partner in working with a diverse portfolio of professionals to really elevate their careers and to support their members achieve their goals. So now that we've kind of painted this vivid picture of the challenges that we face, especially as women, when it comes to self-promotion, let's shift gears and really dive into our objectives for today's session. So as we navigate through the complexities of the professional landscape, it is crucial to equip ourselves with the tools and the strategies that we need to effectively stand out from the crowd and to showcase our value. So today we're going to start by exploring the evolving professional landscape and the increasing importance of self-promotion and differentiation in today's competitive job market. We're going to discuss how implementing SOAR stories and this approach can skillfully showcase your strengths and accomplishments and really allow you to leverage specific experiences to articulate your value and your proposition. And finally, I'll provide you with additional strategies and actionable insights for career sustainment, including tips on how to own your accomplishments, the importance of maintaining a record of achievement and understanding your professional worth. So let's start with taking a look at the professional landscape. Over the past 5 to 10 years, there has undoubtedly been a noticeable shift in the importance of self-promotion. And whether that's done through your resume or through performance evaluations or the way we present ourselves for promotions, the need to effectively market your skills and achievements has become critical to supporting your career progression and your career success. And this is especially true in competitive industries where market volatility is threatening our retention. And we've seen this within oil and gas. As professionals, we need to make sure that we are clearly showcasing our value. So in 2020 and 2021, we walked into one of the worst recessions of our time, which caused a massively flooded market professionally. There was way more movement within the job market than we've previously seen in our lifetime. And in my opinion, the pandemic and the subsequent economic shifts that took place following the pandemic, the shifts within oil and gas, the shifts within technology and the tech sector, they have massively changed the lay of the land, whether you are a job seeker or whether you are an employed professional. It is way more competitive. And this is largely due to the fact that it's way more difficult to get a job. It's becoming more difficult to get a reasonable salary increase. And it's becoming more difficult to, ensure that you have that job stability that you once had. So let's explore these together in greater detail. As I mentioned, part of the competitiveness of the landscape that we're seeing now is in part due to the fact that it's becoming increasingly more difficult to get a job. And there was a fantastic study that was conducted by ZipRecruiter, and they found in their Q1 results from 2024 survey of new hires, their research found that it's taking job seekers longer to find and secure positions and to secure work. Their research, they found that approximately 46% of respondents indicated that they found their job in under a month. So it's taking a longer time for people to find jobs and to secure these positions. And we're also seeing that the recruitment process, for any of you who have been an active candidate in recent months, you can attest to this. The process for securing employment is oftentimes much more drawn out. We used to have, one interview or 2 interviews, and it's really not uncommon now to see that interview process be a lot more comprehensive, and there are many more steps included within that interview process. The second reason why it's becoming, so competitive is that it's becoming increasingly more difficult to get a reasonable salary increase. There was a 2022 publication in this HR Canadian Reporter, and in this publication, a senior economist by the name of David McDonald was quoted saying that Canadian workers' wages are falling behind the rising cost of living. And we are seeing this. The article cites that public sector workers' wages over the past 2 years have grown at a slower pace than the 3.4% annual inflation rate. Those who are working in public administration had only a 1.5% a year pay increase. Workers in education only had a 1.6% a year pay increase. Workers in healthcare and social assistance only had a 2.1% a year increase. So we're definitely noticing that people are not having those same increases that they once had. There was also a viral movement that was happening on social media not too long ago, and it was talking about women especially were sharing their stories. And this is not research, this is just a storytelling narrative that was that was present on social media, but they were sharing how they had left the workforce, 8 or 10 years ago, and they are looking to re-engage after, taking some time off for typically it's family reasons. And when they're looking to re-engage in the workforce, the jobs that they are looking to apply for, which were at the same level that they left the workforce in, were being compensated less than what they were paid at that time when they left. So we're noticing that this flooded market is absolutely impacting the compensation that professionals are being provided. A third factor being that the traditional notions of job security and stability have been upended, with many industries experiencing, rapid transformations and disruptions due to technological advancements and changing consumer behaviors. And this uncertainty has left so many professionals navigating these uncharted waters where, adaptability and resilience are key to staying afloat in increasingly volatile job markets. And I want to emphasize that it's not just one way. It's not just companies who are, letting employees go. There was a fantastic survey that was conducted by Robert Half Canada, and the results were published earlier this year. And they found that 2/5, so approximately 42% of Canadian employees, say that they've already started looking for work or plan to look for a new job in the first half of 2024. And the same study found that 54% of hiring managers indicated that they were actively seeking talent for new roles, mostly to support, company growth. So these findings truly kind of underscore what a dynamic and active landscape it is, reflective of both professionals who are seeking new opportunities and new challenges, as well as companies who are striving for growth. And I think that, it's so important that you understand that this directly impacts you, whether you are vying for a promotion, whether you are actively seeking new positions and new opportunities in the job market. It doesn't really matter. When you are competing against other candidates or navigating salary negotiations, understanding these shifting dynamics is so crucial for your ability to position yourself effectively and advocate for the compensation or the recognition that you deserve. And I think, part of what I want to convey to you is that it's so important that all professionals today showcase that they not only have the skills that are required to do the job, but they need to show how they've demonstrated these skills in a way that has brought value. So what I'd like to do first is I'd like to first speak about the expectations of resumes in today's market, as we can take the insight that we'll gain from discussing the shifts and the expectations of a resume, and we can take that insight and then directly apply it to our networking, directly apply it to our performance appraisals, directly apply it to our promotion strategies, and beyond. Now, when it comes to the information that we include in our resume and how we choose to present our experience, the expectations of a job application have evolved significantly from what many of us were taught in high school. So in the past, resumes were often kind of simple lists of qualifications and experiences, and they often kind of resembled a job posting, to be honest. Today, though, our resume is a dynamic marketing tool. Job applicants are expected to demonstrate that they're not only qualified for the job of interest, but that they have demonstrated these required skills and these qualifications that are sought out by employers in a way that is added value. And this approach, this way of speaking about our experience is what we refer to as an accomplishments-based resume. So an accomplishments-based resume goes beyond listing job duties and responsibilities. It's really a strategic way to approach your experience and your skills in a way that highlights your significant achievements and how you have contributed to the organization's growth or success. Instead of kind of merely stating what you did, this type of resume emphasizes how well you did it. Now, by focusing on your accomplishments, you paint a picture of your contributions. demonstrating your ability to meet and exceed goals, to solve problems, and to make a meaningful impact professionally. Now, in an accomplishments-based resume, it's all about impact. Accomplishments-based resumes focus on showcasing your professional journey through the lens of impact and results. It's not just about what you've done, it's about how you made a difference. In an accomplishments-based resume, we try and weave in quantifiable achievements because these resumes understand that employers love hard data. And accomplishments-based resumes are all about highlighting your measurable achievements, such as revenue growth, cost savings, project milestones met. Numbers speak volumes. And when we're trying to weave numbers into our resumes, we really want to look at quantifiable metrics through there's kind of two categories of quantifiable metrics that we look at. The first is scope-based. So how many people you lead on a team, how large the projects you've managed are, etc. The other type of quantifiable metric are outcome-based. That's your return on investment or impact-driven quantifiable metrics. The third thing that we try and weave into our accomplishments-based resume is our ability to demonstrate skills. Now, it's not just listing skills in isolation. In an accomplishments-based approach, you're integrating your skills seamlessly into the narrative of your accomplishments. You're not just saying that you have these skills, you're showing how you've applied them successfully. And the fourth piece to it is making sure that you're standing out in seconds. With hiring managers spending, the research has shown hiring managers are spending approximately 6 seconds initially scanning a resume and glancing at a resume. By choosing to integrate this accomplishments-based narrative, it grabs their attention, and the whole goal is to hook them. It's your chance to make an unforgettable first impression and keep them reading, to show them that you're qualified for the position and that you're a strong candidate, again, in that you've exercised these duties, responsibilities, and qualifications in a way that has been effective and successful in the past. In today's competitive job market, it's so important that all professionals understand that the majority of industries expect that candidates are submitting accomplishments-based resumes. It's imperative to recognize that when you are in a position where there are many professionals vying for the same opportunity to rise above the competition and to make a lasting impression, we must wholeheartedly adopt this accomplishments-based resume strategy. As a result of the pandemic, and as I mentioned to you before, we saw this huge shift taking place within that professional landscape, in that way more people were applying to jobs than ever before. And it was not uncommon that companies were posting positions for shorter and shorter periods of time because they were so inundated with applications. And we're still to this day seeing that still is happening. There's way more movement happening than ever before. I had a client that I worked with a few weeks ago who was in tech, and he was applying to a position at WestJet. And I have a contact who works at WestJet. So in addition to him applying through their applicant tracking system, their ATS system, and applying online, I reached out to my contact to see if I could just pass his resume directly on to them as well. And she shared with me that the position was only posted for 10 days because they had received 674 applications in 10 days. And so they had to close the posting early. So we are still seeing an influx of applications in many positions today. Of course, that's not across the board, but we are absolutely seeing that influx of applications. And if you are applying to positions where there are going to be a number of other people who are qualified, who have experience that's similar to yours, you need to understand the importance of strategically positioning yourself to show your value so that you present as a stronger candidate than the other professionals who, again, just meet those qualifications. Now that we've talked about resumes, we're going to transition this approach to another crucial aspect of the job search, which is interviews. And just as the expectations of resumes have evolved, so too have the expectations of interviews. Interviews are, today interviews are not just about answering questions. They're really about choosing to sell yourself. It's your chance to bring your resume to life. It's your chance to narrate your professional story, and it's your chance to convince the interviewer that you are the best candidate for the role. In an interview, many of us are familiar with the recommended approach to responding to behavioral questions. So anytime you're asked those questions that are like, tell me about a time when, those are behavioral questions. And some common ones that we might get asked are, tell me about a time when you had to handle a difficult situation with a coworker or client, and how did you handle that? Tell me about a time when you had to meet a deadline. How did you manage your time and ensure you met the deadline that was provided to you? Tell me about a time you set a goal for yourself professionally and how you achieved it. Tell me about a time you had to learn something quickly and how did you approach that? Now, these questions, the approach that we typically use to provide our answers to these questions in an interview is known as the STAR approach, which stands for situation, task, action, and result. And I'm sure most of you are familiar or have heard of the importance of providing your answers using this methodology, using this framework. Situation, the action I took, the result was the situation was, the task at hand was, the action I took, and the result was. And much like an accomplishments-based approach that we recommend you take when writing your resume, the structured STAR framework encourages professionals to showcase the problem that they experienced, the action they took to address it, and really highlight the value that their contributions made. So let's take a deeper look at the STAR approach broken down. So situation is when you choose to describe the context within which you performed a task or faced a challenge at work. And this sets the stage for your story and provides the background that the interviewer needs in order to understand your example. The T stands for task, and this is when you explain the actual task or responsibility that you had in that situation. This identifies your specific role and what you were required to do. A stands for action, and this details the action that you took to address the task or challenge. And this is the core of your answer, where you highlight the steps that you implemented and the skills you utilized. And finally, R stands for result, where you conclude with the outcomes or results of your actions. And whenever possible, you want to try and quantify these results to provide concrete evidence to your success and impact. Now, another approach that is very similar to the STAR approach is the SOAR approach. SOAR stands for situation, obstacle, action, and result. And the SOAR approach is a very powerful method to skillfully showcase your strengths by leveraging your specific experiences and articulating your value proposition. So let's take a look at the SOAR approach in greater detail. S, similarly to the STAR method, stands for situation. And this is where you set the context. You describe the situation or the challenge that you faced. And this really sets the stage for your story and provides background information that helps the listener understand the context of your achievement. So for example, you might start with, at my previous company, we were facing a significant decline in customer satisfaction due to delayed project deliveries. So that's the situation. The O here, though, is different, and this stands for obstacles. And this is where you identify an obstacle or the problem that needed to be addressed. And this shows that you can recognize and articulate challenges, which is a valuable skill in any professional setting. So your answer here might look like, the main obstacle was the lack of a streamlined project management system, which led to miscommunication and missed deadlines. So you're clearly articulating that obstacle. The A again stands for action, and this is where you detail the specific actions that you took to overcome that obstacle. This is where you highlight your skills, strategies, and the steps implemented to address the challenge. So again, like following that same story we were providing you, you might say, I initiated the implementation of a new project management tool, providing training to the team and established weekly check-ins to ensure that we stayed on track. And finally, R is result. You conclude with the results of your action. So you might want to say something along the lines of, as a result of this, of my contributions, our project delivery times improved by 30% and customer satisfaction scores increased by 20% within 6 months. So SOAR stories Really outline challenges that you faced and obstacles that you've overcome, how you problem solved, especially in situations where you faced significant challenges or obstacles. Now, with a clear understanding of how SOAR stories uh, outline challenges and solutions, let's explore how you can effectively apply them in various career scenarios. So the first way is through performance evaluations. During a performance appraisal or performance review, utilizing this SOAR approach and the SOAR stories to articulate your achievements over the past review period can be a very strong strategy and methodology to utilize within that narrative. This approach provides clear evidence of your contributions and the value that you have brought to the table. A second way you can utilize the SOAR approach is when pitching yourself for a promotion, leveraging SOAR stories to demonstrate your readiness for the next level. It can allow you to kind of highlight how you've tackled significant challenges and driven results that are aligned with the organization's goals. So let's play for a second and let's pretend that or take a look at applying the SOAR approach should you be a project manager, aiming for a promotion. So the situation might look like this. You're in your performance evaluation and you're now pitching for a promotion, which you'd like to secure within the next few months. So you might say something along the lines of, in my role as a project manager at XYZ Engineering, I was assigned to lead a critical project aimed at upgrading our outdated software system, with the goal was here to enhance our operational efficiency and reduce costs. Now, this project was pivotal for the company's competitive positioning in the market. Then you move on to the O, which is obstacle. Unfortunately, the project faced significant challenges from the onset. The legacy system is deeply integrated in our daily operations, making the transition complex. Additionally, there was a tight deadline of 6 months to complete the project, coupled with a really limited budget. The team also had limited experience with new technology, and especially the new technology that we were choosing to implement. Then you switch to the A, action. So in order to address these challenges, I undertook the following actions. I conducted a thorough analysis of the existing system and identified key areas for improvement. From there, I created a detailed project plan that included realistic milestones and deliverables. I assembled a cross-functional team with a diverse skill set to ensure that all aspects of the project were covered. I then developed and organized training sessions for the team in order to familiarize them with the new technology. And throughout this whole process, I implemented an agile project management approach to allow for flexibility and quick adjustments as they were needed. Then the R. As a result of these actions, the project was completed within 6 months and under budget. The new software system was highly successful and led to a 25% increase in operational efficiencies. Furthermore, the company saw a significant reduction in operation costs, accounting to approximately $500,000 a year. Now, this project not only demonstrates my ability to manage complex initiatives and lead a team through challenging circumstances, but really highlights my commitment to driving significant improvements and value for this company. As such, I'm confident that these achievements underscore my readiness for a more senior role within the organization. That preparation is so key and critical to ensuring that you play the game and that you play it well, and that you are choosing to be clear and articulate in showcasing your value. Now, should you want to know how you can, incorporate these SOAR stories and speak to them in your next appraisal or your next promotion pitch, I've got some list of prompting questions here. Whoops, sorry, I missed a study. There you go. So can you recall a time in the past year when your team or department faced a significant challenge? What major projects or initiatives have you been involved in recently? Was there a specific goal your team or department was striving to achieve over the past year? Did you contribute to any new product launches or service improvements? Can you recall an instance where you had to learn a skill or technology in order to meet the job demands? Have you participated in any efforts to improve internal processes or efficiencies? And did you play a major role in any organizational changes, such as mergers, acquisitions, or restructuring? These are prompting questions to help guide you in deciding which of your stories or how to kind of prompt you in thinking of your SOAR stories that you would like to integrate into your performance evaluations, or should you be pitching yourself for a promotion. Having clarity on your SOAR stories will enable you to skillfully showcase your strengths and your accomplishments by leveraging specific experiences to articulate your value proposition. And this approach truly does strengthen your overall professional narrative, helping you understand how to stand out in today's competitive professional landscape. Now, these approaches, this accomplishments-based way of looking at your experience and having clarity on your SOAR stories, they are great tools and strategies, especially for women, because women tend to be less inclined to articulate their experience and their value. By emphasizing concrete accomplishments and tangible contributions, women can assert their value with confidence. They can challenge gender biases, and they can really choose to level the playing field when it comes to professional advancement. So why do women specifically struggle to sell themselves? Well, the first reason truly is the gender bias. Over time, gender biases hurt career prospects. They contribute to the earnings gaps and promote the underrepresentation of gender, binary or not, in top level positions. For many of us, still to this day, we may experience or have experienced some element of gender bias in the workplace. Women especially find themselves navigating a landscape where their achievements may be overlooked or undervalued simply because of their gender. Now, despite their qualifications and their capabilities, women may struggle to assert themselves. They may struggle to sell their skills in a culture that prioritizes, certain traits traditionally associated with masculinity. There was a study called Gender Stereotypes and Discrimination: The Effects on Women's Performance and Leadership Tasks. And within this study, it investigated the impact of gender stereotypes on women's performance in leadership roles. This study found that participants rated male leaders as way more effective than female leaders, even when they exhibited the same leadership behavior. And the authors suggest that these results indicate the presence of gender stereotypes, which can negatively impact women's ability to kind of sell themselves professionally within leadership capacities. The study's findings suggest that gender bias can negatively impact women's ability to sell themselves professionally and may even ultimately reduce women's opportunities for career advancement in leadership roles. Now, the second reason why women struggle to sell themselves is often referred to as the confidence gap. There was a study published in the Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin in 2018, where researchers from the University of Utah and the University of California, Berkeley, shed light on the profound differences in self-evaluation processes between men and between women. And in their study, which was titled Gender Differences in Self-Evaluation Processes, a Multi-Method Examination of Sex Differences in Self-Esteem and Self-Competence, the study dove into the intricate dynamics of self-perception across genders. Now, the study's comprehensive approach, which incorporated various methods to measure self-evaluation processes, including self-reporting questionnaires, behavioral tasks, the psychological measures, regardless of the method used, the result was consistent. The results consistently underscored significant gender disparities in self-esteem, in self-competence, and in self-assurance. Women, in general, reported lower levels of self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-assurance compared to their male counterparts. And these findings resonate deeply with the pervasive societal narrative that often undermines women's confidence and self-belief. From subtle gender biases to overt cultural norms, women are frequently subjected to systemic barriers that can erode their sense of self-worth, and they can hinder their ability to assertively promote themselves. What makes these findings particularly compelling is their robustness and reliability across various measurement methods. It didn't matter if it was self-reported assessments, if it was observed behavioral patterns, or psychological responses or physiological responses, the gender differences in self-evaluative processes remained consistent. And this just reinforces the notion that the confidence gap between men and women is not merely anecdotal, but it is deeply, deeply ingrained in our social fabric. So how does this translate into implications for professional development? Understanding the intricacies of the confidence gap is crucial, especially in professional contexts where self-promotion and career advancement are paramount. For women navigating the corporate landscape, these findings underscore the importance of cultivating resilience, self-advocacy, and once again, assertiveness. So what are some of the strategies then that we can implement to support our ongoing career sustainment? So the first is owning our accomplishments. In order to be effective and successful in implementing SOAR stories, you need to own your accomplishments. I think too often, especially again as women, we downplay our success or we attribute them to external factors. Instead, I really encourage you all to embrace your achievements with confidence and with pride, to really be clear on the value that you bring to the table and the impact that you have made within your role. By acknowledging your accomplishments, you not only boost your self-esteem, but you also establish this compelling narrative of success that resonates with employers and with colleagues alike. Another crucial aspect of career sustainment is maintaining a record of achievement. Keep a detailed record of your accomplishments, your milestones, your accolades throughout your career journey, whether it's exceeding targets, leading successful projects, document each achievement with specificity. And this record serves as a tangible evidence of your capabilities and your contributions. And you will find it to be invaluable when you prepare for your performance reviews or as you walk into conversations about promotions, or even if you're navigating a job transition. And finally, it's essential to understand your professional worth. You want to make sure that you're taking the time to reflect on your skills, your expertise, and your unique strengths. Recognize the value that you bring to your organization and the broader industry. And I think it's important to conduct regular self-assessments, identify what your areas for growth and development are, but also at the same time, celebrate your strengths, celebrate your areas of expertise. Understand your professional worth, and it will empower you to negotiate confidently. It will empower you to pursue opportunities aligned with your skills and to advocate effectively for yourself in the workplace. And as we conclude today's session, I want to remember that the journey to career success is not just about landing the job or securing the promotion. It's really about confidently navigating the professional landscape, embracing your worth, and rewriting the narrative of our careers. By leveraging, the tools and strategies we discussed today, whether it be an accomplishments-based approach that we're taking to our resume, or the art of selling ourselves within our interview, to integrating SOAR stories in our performance appraisals, and as we advocate and negotiate for job promotions or salary increases, we really are kind of empowering ourselves to stand out, to make meaningful contributions, and really to thrive in the competitive professional world that we are living in today. So my hope for today is that we rewrite the script and embark on a journey of empowerment, resilience, and success when it comes to your career progression. So I think we've got a few minutes for questions.
Thank you so much, Clementine. That was really great. Excellent. So do we have any questions from the audience? All right. While people are talking, I have one in mind. And I know for a fact that some of our attendees today, they are recent graduated.
Mhm.
So my question for you, Clementine, is how you will advise a person who is recent, just fresh from college, from university, to approach, uh, you know, themselves
Mhm.
based on their achievements?
Mhm.
What
I
would
think that's
be your advice for them?
I think that's a fantastic question. And I think for new graduates, especially when you are competing against a large pool of other candidates who are very similar in nature to you, as a new graduate, everyone kind of has the same limited experience. And so really you're wanting to showcase the experience that you do have as and sell it as it pertains to the job you're wanting to apply for. So it's not uncommon with new graduates that will approach their academics as a form of professional experience. And so what we do is we'll kind of list out their capstone projects, their contributions that they had within that project, if they led part of that initiative, what their outcome of that initiative was. But we frame that academic experience instead of just saying, bachelor's of engineering at X school, will have bullets that fall under that education to kind of showcase the work and the contributions that they made during that their time within that academics. If they have any other experiences, again, you're wanting to kind of showcase that transferability and how it pertains and relates to the positions of interest as well.
Thank you. That was a great answer. So do we have questions from the audience? From the attendees?
I'll add one more thought to that if that's okay. So I'm just gonna
Yeah, for
take
sure.
a sip of water. Then I'll add one. Sorry. The other thing, excuse me, I was going to add to that. The other thing we notice when it comes to new graduates is how they approach their interviews. Again, there's been this massive shift in the expectations of applications and the expectations of interviews. And another kind of mistake or error that we often see that new graduates make in the interview is they choose to approach the interview from a lens of what's in it for them. So for example, if they're an EIT, they might be, when they're asked, what drew you to want to apply for this position, they may respond with along the lines of, I need to get my hours so I can get my PN status. That's what we call a failed answer. So it's a completely missed opportunity to sell yourself and to showcase the value you'd bring to the organization. So that's approaching that interview as from a lens of what's in it for me. What do I get out of this? Whereas the interview really should be approached as trying to showcase why you are the best candidate for the organization. What value do you bring the organization? What interests do you have in this area of work? What are your passions? And showcase how that is aligned with them as a company and with the work that you're going to do, and how you would be the strongest candidate for their consideration.
And for women, that you mentioned different things about mention your value, your worth. I know, and I have sometimes that challenge when you are negotiating, for example, salary. So what would be your advice for a woman to overcome that challenge or that question when someone asks you, what is your salary expectation, or what is your worth?
Yeah. Well, I think, with regards to salary expectations, you should be doing your homework. And there's a great, if you're not familiar with the
Yep.
site, it's called Glassdoor. I think everyone should walk into an interview having done research. They know the expectation or the common kind of salary range for that position, and to go in being really clear as to why you're asking for the salary that you're asking. So if you can find that the common salary range for a certain position is between, let's say, $80,000 and $100,000, and you're asking for $95,000 to $100,000, you need to be very clear as to why you're at the top end of that scale and what qualifies you to ask for that salary. I don't think that matters necessarily for women or for men, but I can't tell you how often I see people not doing their homework and not doing their due diligence, and not walking into that prepared. When it comes to those salary negotiations, another strategy that I'll encourage you to incorporate is a lot of people default to saying, well, in my last job I was making 80,000, so I'm really looking for 90,000. Why would I pay you more than what someone else just paid you to do very similar work? The response should always rather be, based on my research for the position and my qualifications, I'm currently interviewing for and applying for positions within the range of $100,000 to $115,000. That's a much stronger answer. And then when they ask you what qualifies you to do that, be prepared to say, I've got my PMP certification, I am a certified Scrum Master, or wherever you want to kind of incorporate, but bring in and showcase the projects that I've led in my last position ranged up to $1 billion. So I've absolutely got a strong scope of experience working within this space, and be able to articulate why you're asking for the salary that you're asking for.
That's great. Thank you. All right. Do we have any questions?
There's one that's come through. May I answer that one?
Yeah, for sure.
So the question that's come through is a discussion I recently had with someone was whether or not you should talk about your personal hobbies outside of work at an interview. So this is just my opinion. Remember, when it comes to interviewing and resumes, it's not a black and white process, but there are best practices. And, I will tell you for the thousands of professionals I've worked with, there's no doubt that women tend to lead with, in the question of tell me about yourself, women have a much stronger tendency to lead with, well, I'm a mother, I've got 3 young children, and they'll lead with that lens. Whereas you very rarely find a man walking into an interview discussing how he's a father and talking about his children. He'll approach it much more from a professional lens and speak to his accomplishments and experiences professionally to showcase his candidacy for the position. And I often do encourage women to do the same. I think if there's an element of your personal life that would be relevant, of skill-based, or if there's an alignment if you are applying for an organization that has a unbelievable commitment to family and community, then you can absolutely say, once you've answered your question from a professional lens, you can say, in addition to that, I'm very aware of SEMCAM's dedication to developing a strong community network and really kind of fostering and encouraging that family engagement. That's another reason why I'm so excited to be speaking with you here as well. I've got 2 young children, and I'm really looking for an organization that shares in those value drivers. So again, that's a big draw. Your reputation is remarkable. So you can kind of link it professionally so that you're kind of showing them what you know about them while speaking to your personal pieces as well.
Thank you. We have another one from Sandra.
Yep. How can I increase my competitiveness as a new grad when looking for jobs? As you said, there are a lot of people I'll be competing with. How can I make sure I make an impact in my interviews? Well, just as I mentioned, you want to make sure that you have gone through the job posting and all of the metrics of what they're looking for, whether it be software, whether it be experience, might be, experience within various capacities like vendor relationships, project management, project coordination, vendor selection, budget management, cost allocation, negotiation, whatever it is. Make sure that in an interview, you're choosing examples, whether it be from professional experiences or from your academic experiences, where you can showcase your strengths or your ability to execute those responsibilities or requirements in a way that has been effective or successful. So you really want to make sure that you're kind of on the nose and walking into those interviews prepared to use examples to speak to experiences that are relevant to what you're looking to apply for.
Yep. We have another one. It says, can you give an example of what interviewers expect to hear and tell me about yourself?
Sure. So typically we recommend that this question is approached from your academics to your professional experience. So if you are a new graduate, you would say, due to a love for math or science or whatever you want to say, I chose to pursue a degree in engineering. And then you might talk about some projects you've done during my degree in engineering. I was able to participate in X, Y, and Z projects, which exposed me to this type of engineering, reservoir engineering or production engineering or project management, whatever, which really, paved the way to me pursuing this as an area of specialty professionally. So you kind of want to showcase your experience as it pertains to what you're applying for. If you are a more seasoned professional, you'll typically say, following my degree in engineering, I was then retained by X company in this capacity. And throughout the course of my 10 years, I progressed into more senior positions and engineering management positions, which has developed, my skills in, you might want to say, business acumen or corporate strategy. And now I really value my ability to work with engineering teams to identify opportunities to drive process improvement and to really optimize asset performance. So again, you're kind of showcasing your experience in a way as it pertains to the job that you're wanting to apply for. And there's no harm in bringing some soft skills in too. At the end of that, you can say, and as a person, I am, curious. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm passionate. I really value myself as a strong leader. I have led, multidisciplinary technical teams of up to 20 people, and I really thrive within those roles. So you can kind of give a little bit of personal touch to it as well, but again, as it pertains to what you're wanting to apply for.
So basically, you recommend just to mix up a little bit of your personality, a little bit of your experience related with the job, and perhaps something why you want to work for the company, something like that. It's just a mix of soft skills and hard skills.
Yeah, so typically I think a lot of people kind of miss the hard piece. So they'll just say, well, I am I am kind, and that's not what they're looking for. They're wanting to know professionally, what drew you to this position, and tell me about your experience as it pertains to this role. And then a personal touch can just soften the narrative a little bit and then help sell your candidacy. And then again, as you mentioned before, linking it back to the company and the position is always recommended. As I did share with you, if you do want to share a personal narrative like you're a mother and that you have children, to link that back to the organization and how that is a fit with the culture that they have developed at the organization, that's a strong play. That's a strong linkage of those two worlds, as opposed to just saying, I'm a mom, I've got 3 kids, and leaving it there. Linking it back to the organization, and then what kind of has it made you excited or motivated to pursue an opportunity within this organization and the fit there.
Awesome. Thank you, Clementine. That was really great. Fantastic.
Oh, thank you all. Thank you all so much for taking the time to join me today, and I hope you all had a wonderful day.
Thank you. Today was a really great day. I hope that everyone in the summit enjoyed the speakers. All of them were fantastic, and we have the treat to have you at the end. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you all very much. And if you are someone who is looking for a professional, transition or looking to apply for jobs, if you go to our website, resumerestoration.ca, there's a resources page with a whole bunch of free resources. So I do recommend, if you are someone who's anticipating to navigate that process, or if you are someone who's looking for work, there's tons of free resources that you can utilize to strengthen your resumes.
Awesome. Well, thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, I just want to thank again to all our amazing speakers, panelists, sponsors. We are really grateful to have you today and for supporting this event. And thank you, attendees. Your participation, energy, and enthusiasm made this summit a truly unforgettable experience and success. We hope you gained valuable insights, built new connections, and left feel empowered to making your mark in the field of engineering. I want to also to give a special thank you to our sponsors and our volunteers that make this possible. We couldn't done it without you, and your commitment to supporting women in engineering and fostering diversity and inclusion is truly inspiring. Before we say goodbye, there is one last thing that I would like to ask you is to please share your thoughts about today's event. You have here the link for the poll. Share your feedback. That is crucial in helping us improve future events. Well, this is not the end, but rather the beginning. We encourage you to stay connected with us and each other. Let's continue to champion women in engineering and build a more inclusive future for the industry. On that note, it's time for us to say farewell. We wish you all the very best in your career and personal endeavors. Thank you again for joining us today.